Hi, everybody, and welcome into the final game of the season for the 23 Boston Red Sox as we lay that team to bed. They're done. All's done. I'm actually pretty happy that we can finally start looking at the postseason, but we're not going to be talking about much of the game at all today. We're talking about the sudden tragic passing of a true hero, a true legend, a true gentleman, and a true person that so many people related to, for fans, for teammates, for really anybody within Boston. And that is the news of Tim Wakefield passing away today at the very young age of 57. This one threw me off big when I got that report earlier today before the game started. I've just kind of been in a daze, just kind of remembering, kind of asking myself why would a person with so much integrity and so much good that he gave back to the city and everything had to go at the most sudden and most tragic time. I mean, this man, Brendan, went in for brain cancer, which we found out Wednesday evening from Kurt Schilling. I know there's a lot of people that are pretty upset still at the fact that Kurt Schilling did what he did, but he went in September 15th, I believe, for the surgery, and all reports were that he was doing okay. He was at a phase where he thought we were going to get better and everything, and lo and behold, this news came out today. I want to welcome you in, and we'll talk about it the best we can. There's going to be a tough
Yeah,
show for us, just for me, but we'll talk about it the best we can.
no, Nick, same for me. It really is a sensitive subject. I mean, growing up watching Wakefield pitch, he was never the best player, but that was
No,
what made him so relatable, which is what we were talking about was he was he was a great player, a hero of the city, did so much for the community, and he was one of a kind on and off the field. The knuckler, the curve, filthy pitcher, a great player, a leader in that clubhouse that would go on to break the curse and do so much for the city and the community. Um, and and unfortunately, tragically, he has passed, and now we move on. We unfortunately we go on. I just feel for the children and the
yep,
people
his family,
that
2 kids, his wife Stacy. It's just it's I said gut wrenching today. Gut wrenching, heartbreaking, tragic. All those words come to mind. For me today, I have not worn this for any of our. I haven't. This has been retired for a little bit from me, but I dug this out today. It's the 2007 World Series pullover, and I got the hat right there. And the reason that I put that on, I didn't put on my '04 one, and the reason I didn't do that is because in 2007, when the Red Sox won the World Series that year, Tim Wakefield gave up his roster spot. And there's a clip that's been circulating with Mike Timlin just talking about how much of a man, how much of a courageous person that this guy was, and how much of an amazing teammate he was. That he didn't care about the respect of himself, he cared about his team, the best way for his team to win. And that's why this man is such a legend. He did everything from starting to relieving to closing to long relief. This is a guy that almost was done with baseball. He finally found the pitch, the knuckleball, that was able to signify his career. Came to the Red Sox in 1995 and played all the way up until 2011. He's 200 wins. I mean, that says everything that you need to know right there. And innings pitched, he has that total from everything too. In my opinion, I strongly feel that the Tim Wakefield number should be retired next season. I strongly feel that way right now. I know we've got a lot of emotions flying through this here, but this is a special player. It didn't matter the talent level. It mattered about how much he meant to so many people,
into
and
the
that
city.
impact that he provided for so many, I think, has to have a special place in his remembrance for Tim Wakefield. Um, for me, the 2003 ALCS, I mean, he was everything in that series, everything. and he gave it his all. And Aaron Boone hit that home run to get the Yankees to the World Series. But in 2004, I remember him coming out of the bullpen again with being an innings eater, going into extra innings, having to have Jason Veritek and everything catch him, which was not a commodity at that time. It was Doug Mirabelli. Doug Mirabelli was that personal catcher for Tim Wakefield majority of his time here in Boston. And finally, Tim Wakefield was able to raise that trophy in 2004. He actually got game one start against the Cardinals as well. He got roughed up, but still, he was able to get that start because he earned it. He earned that ability to be out there and to represent the Boston Red Sox and get that championship. And I also remember as a kid watching Johnny Damon had that trophy in his hand and brought it right over to Wake and said, "This is for you. This is for you. You raise that high, you raise it proud," because that's what it meant to be a winner. And that's what Tim Wakefield was, a winner. One of the things that I've done in my life, and Brendan's now a part of it, is I created a amazing program for kids called Sports Zone 101. And what I do in this program, it's a characteristics of being a good sport, being a good leader, being a good role model. And I remember as a kid how much I looked up to Tim Wakefield from watching from afar and just knowing right from wrong. And that's somebody that I'm going to root for. That is somebody that I know that if I'm going to be an instructor in my class and I'm going to tell one of my kids somebody to look up to on all the values that you look for in a person and the values that you look for in a teammate, it's Tim Wakefield. Every single time I would say that, it was Tim Wakefield. It didn't matter the skill level. It didn't matter how many wins he had. It didn't matter how many strikeouts. It didn't matter how many losses he had in the season. It was about integrity and respect of the game and respect of your teammates and the people around you. That is Tim Wakefield.
No, Nick, I mean, definitely. That's what we try to do. We try to build leaders, and it's a childhood hero of mine that passed. Growing up, watching Tim Wakefield, born in '99, growing up watching him and Ramirez, Ortiz, the whole nines, climbing it and winning the championship and breaking lifelong curse,
Yeah.
and Wakefield was a big part of that. He was a
Huge part of it.
And
both championships, 1000%.
And I'll never forget watching him. Just the one starter that I ever saw in my whole life that was a master knuckler. It really is crazy and sudden and tragic at this time.
One thing that I also look at Tim Wakefield and I define him with the word of unique. Tim Wakefield was a very unique player because he was somebody that defied all the odds. He was a forgotten player for the most part, wasn't going to have a career and everything, defined all the odds and was able to find something that worked and was great. There are not many knuckleballers or anybody that's like Tim Wakefield at all. There's a guy with the Mariners right now, George Kirby, who's trying to throw a knuckleball and everything like that. But this is a once-in-a-lifetime kind of person and player. So that's why today is also very, very, very difficult for so many people here. The other thing that I also wanted to mention here before we wrap is I do want to give a shout out, and I don't often do this because sometimes we're critical of things, but I want to shout out Nesson. To go through a post-game, pre-game, and everything like that with the news just hitting about Tim Wakefield coming out, I want to shout out Tom Caron. I want to shout out Jim Rice, Joe Castiglione, Lou Merlone, Kevin Youkilis, Jemai Webster, the entire team that put that together today. That is one tough assignment to have to still continue to do your job and still continue to deliver the news and get yourself ready to play a game. And you guys all handled it with respect and dignity. And I know that Tim Wakefield would be very proud of what they did for today. That was very classy on all of their part. And I tip my cap to them and to Tim Wakefield as well. We'll close it out here. Another thing that my organization is doing for Tim Wakefield in his honor and his memory, we have at my store called Empower, which is in Woburn and in Reading, Mass. We have a special drink that was created in Tim Wakefield's memory and honor called the Knuckler. It is a special drink that will have proceeds going to the Jimmy Fund and Dana-Farber Cancer in Tim Wakefield's name. Let's kick cancer out of here, because I am sick and tired of having to live this life with more people that you lose from this awful, dreaded disease. So if you'd like to support, you'd like to come on down and grab the Knuckler, it'll be available all week at our store. Just hit me up on Twitter or our YouTube that we have, Twitter X, excuse me. Got to get into that habit again, or YouTube to get some more information on it. But I'd like to see our Red Sox Nation come out and support, and we give a nice big check to the Jimmy Fund and Dana-Farber in Tim Wakefield's honor and memory. Any final words we want to mention today, Brendan?
I just want to say thank you so much to everybody. The season is over. It wasn't easy. It was not easy. It was a real gut punch at the end. We're gonna move on, and we're gonna grow. And prayers to the family of Tim Wakefield, and prayers to everybody affected. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful night.
Yeah, I echo exactly what Brendan said. You've been with us for pretty much the entire season. This is 162, so it wraps. Brendan and I will also be covering the wild card and some of the post-game action for October baseball. It's here. We'd love it if the Red Sox are a part of it, but they're not. So we'll still be rooting from afar for our favorite team, or favorite team that we might have in this. I don't know if we do have one, but we'll go over all that tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week. And again, this show right here dedicated for Tim Wakefield. We'll miss you. Thanks for the memories.